So you say like accepting yourself despite failure. It seems like failure still has a lot of judgment attached to it. When you're saying like, I failed.
Well, if something's hurting you, that you could say that's something you'd like to change. And if you wanted to label it, you could label it as failure, but failure is just a word. It's just something that's hurting you, something that's detrimental to you. You know, but if you want to put a label on it, you can call it failure, but you don't need to put that label on it. So I removed worry because I saw it as detrimental. I also saw it as a failure pattern. Because at that time, that was how I was thinking. I was thinking, we have all these different patterns inside of us. Some of them are failure patterns because they create failure in our lives. They create suffering in our lives. And so that's how I labelled them back then. Does that make sense?
So anything that makes you suffer is a failure?
Anything that you're creating that is unnecessary creates suffering in you. Why would you want to continue it? Because it is a failure pattern.
So when you accept yourself, there will be no suffering?
Pretty much. If we're not in resistance to life, it's not just accepting self, it's accepting life as well. If we don't go into resistance, we don't suffer. It's only in our resistance to what is, whether it's to ourselves or the world, that we should create suffering. Doesn't mean we mightn't feel pain. We may feel pain, but if we resist that pain, that's when we suffer. If we don't resist life, if we don't resist, we don't suffer.
So accepting yourself is accepting the pain.
As well. If there's pain there, you accept that too. And you know, to be a human is painful. There's just no doubt about that. Yeah. But that's how it is. And if you can accept it, you don't have to suffer too much. If you don't accept it, well, you suffer. Because you actually go to resistance to it. Does that make sense? It's simple for me to say it. It's actually harder for you to practice it. Because we've all been brought up in a way where we do resist. You know, we're massive resistors. The problem with being a massive resistor, of course, the most massive part is anger or fear, is that that's us creating suffering for us. And we're never shown that at school. We're never shown it by our parents. We're not told if we resist life, we're going to suffer. But when you actually look at it and examine it, you see it's true. If we resist life, we suffer. And we suffer at our own hand, not at existence's hand. Existence is just doing what existence does. We're the ones offering the resistance.